Hello everyone, welcome to MBBS classes. Myself Dr. Hanifa. Today in this video I'll be talking on a very important topic called noise induced hearing loss, or in short it is also called as NIHL. As we all know, the hearing plays an important role in our lives, and the hearing loss which is caused by the exposure to the loud noise is known as noise induced hearing loss. NIHL, it is the second common cause of hearing loss. The most common is still being is presbyacusis. One important thing I want to share is that NIHL, it is a totally preventable condition, and it is an important emerging global health hazard. Nowadays, millions of individuals they suffer from NIHL, and it is one of the largest cause of disability compensation in the West. Since it is a significant global health issue, many organizations like WHO and the National Institute of Health, etc., are making their efforts to reduce its burden. As we all know, excessive noise is an emerging global health hazard. And in our modern times, the increased exposure to the noise is related to the modernization, or we can say urbanization, increased industrialization, and the increased exposure to the noise in our day-to-day lives. But there are certain group of people who are at greater risk of developing NIHL. These people are those who are exposed to noise at their workplace, like the people they are working in the industries, or the paramilitary people, and the people who are constant and the people who are constantly involved in the recreational activities. So noise is an undesirable sound or excessive loud sound which has the potential to harm the hearing. Noise is measured in terms of decibels. Noise dosimeter is a device which is used to measure the exposure of noise at the workplace. What it does is that it integrates the function of the noise sound pressure over the time. And in the industrial areas, it is mandatory to use the noise dosimeter at their workplace. It measures the sound pressure level at the workplace. The pattern of exposure of noise is not same in all the cases. It may be continuous, fluctuating, intermittent, or impulsive. So, the continuous pattern of exposure is in people who are working in the industrial areas, fluctuating type of exposure in case of recreational places like concerts and DJ nights, intermittent in where there is a high exposure of sounds in cases of airports, and impulsives like in blast injury. Now let us see the pathophysiology of NIHL. Exposure to the loud noise, it affects the inner ear, that is the organ of Corti, and it can cause the damage which may be temporary or which may be permanent. So when it causes a temporary damage to the auditory system, it is known as temporary threshold shift. And when the damage to the function of the auditory system is permanent, it is known as permanent threshold shift. There are different theories which are proposed to explain the mechanism of injury in NIHL. Now let us see one by one. According to the one theory, the injury in the NIHL is purely mechanical, which is caused by the severe motion of the basilar membrane. Other theories, they proposed that the metabolic exhaustion of the cell occurs, resulting in the sensorineural hearing loss. Another theory, it believes that ischemia due to the vascular narrowing is the main cause of injury in NIHL. But the current theory, which is mostly considered nowadays, is the mechanochemical theory. According to the mechanochemical theory, the injury in the NIHL is caused by two components, by mechanical component and by the chemical component. So the mechanical component according to this theory is that there occur certain alterations in the stereocilia, which is located above over the hair cells. They are either broken or they are shortened on exposure to noise. So initial changes in these stereocilia, it leads to temporary threshold shift. Usually what happens when once these stereocilia they are damaged, usually they undergo repair within a period of 48 hours. But if a person is exposed to continuous noise exposure, then this repair may not be done, and then it leads to permanent threshold shift. The chemical component of the mechanochemical theory is that in cases of severe damage due to the mechanical disruption, what happens is that there occurs the break in the structural framework of the cochlear duct, due to which there occurs the mixing of the endolymph and the perilymph. The mixing of this endolymph and the perilymph, it leads to loss of hair cells and the corresponding nerve fibers. Now let us see the histopathological changes in NIHL. Before we proceed, let us see the different parts of the normal organ of Corti. In a normal organ of Corti, it is the main organ of hearing. Certain basic components are, there is a one membrane called basilar membrane. According to this theory, there may be injury to this basilar membrane. Then over this basilar membrane lies the outer hair cells and the inner hair cells. Over these hair cells, there are fine hair cells which are known as stereocilia, which is again covered by another membrane called tectorial membrane. So this is the basilar membrane. These are the outer hair cells. These are the inner hair cells. These are stereocilia, tectorial membrane, and this is the nerve root or the cochlear nerve. So what happens in NIHL is that these stereocilia, when they are exposed to the loud noise, they are either broken or they are shortened from the root. So this is how it looks when there is no stereocilia and they are damaged. Moreover, it is seen that in the histopathological slides of the inner ear, there occurs the vacuolization of the inner hair cells. So if we see the inner hair cells of a normal organ of Corti, we can compare that there is a swelling and vacuolization of the inner hair cells. So temporary threshold shift, it is the reversible loss which results from exposure to the moderately intense sounds as such encountered in the orchestra concert. Usually what happens due to the repair of the stereocilia within few hours, this condition it resolves within few hours to few days. But when this TTS occurs, the presentation is usually in the form of hearing impairment. So when the patient will complain of hearing impairment, and when we do the audiogram, we will see the mid-frequency range from 3 to 6 kHz is usually affected. There may be other associated clinical features like tinnitus, loudness recruitment, muffled sounds, and Doppler-acusis. So when this TTS it doesn't recover before re-exposure to the loud noise, it leads to the permanent change in the organ of Corti, and it leads to permanent change in the hearing, which is known as PTS or permanent threshold shift. So this permanent threshold shift, it is the irreversible elevation in the hearing thresholds due to the structural damage to the cochlea, which we have already seen. So this permanent threshold shift, it can be caused by two different mechanisms. One type is acoustic trauma, which is caused by single short lasting exposure to the very intense sound, such as in blast injury. And the other form of PTS may be the typical noise-induced hearing loss, where the persons they are chronically exposed to the less intense sound at their workplace. So when a patient develops PTS or the permanent threshold shift, they will present with gradual onset of hearing loss, which will be sensorineural type. There will be history of long-term exposure to the noise level more than 90 decibel for more than 8 hours per day. So when we take the history, the work time, the decibel of exposure is important. And when we do the audiogram, again, in noise-induced hearing loss, the mid-frequency from 3 to 6 kHz is affected, and sometimes we may get a notch at 4 kHz. When a person is exposed to the loud noise and when they present to us with the hearing difficulty, we do audiogram. In cases of noise-induced hearing loss, when we do the audiogram, we see that it is the mid frequency from 3 to 6 kHz which is most commonly affected. One particular thing about the noise-induced hearing loss is that the hearing is normal at lower test frequencies and it demonstrates a substantial recovery at 8 kHz. So If we look into the audiogram, we can see here that at 4 kilohertz there is a notch. This is known as the audiometric noise notch. In some patients, the noise notch may be present from 3 kilohertz to 6 kilohertz, and the hearing at lower frequency is within the normal limit. And again, if we see this audiogram, the hearing, it comes to normal. There is a recovery at the 8 kilohertz. So there are certain factors which influence the risk of the noise induced hearing loss. So the factors may be related to the noise exposure. That means it depends on the duration, intensity, and the daily exposure of the noise at their workplace. It may be related to the individual. Certain studies, they propose the role of genetics and the age at exposure. But last but not the least, the most important is the occupation. The persons who are at more risk are the industrial workers, the people who are working in DJ, and those attending concerts. Since the noise-induced hearing loss is a global health issue which is not only limited to one place or country, it is a problem for all of the world, and several attempts are made by government to take a control of the noise pollution and to protect the people from the hazards at their workplace. The unit of measurement of sound is decibel. So the permissible noise exposure limit is 85 decibel for 8 hours. So certain rules and regulations for industries with the noise level greater than 85 decibel is that the pre-employment audiometry must be done, and they must undergo annual audiometric assessment. They must be using the personal protective hearing devices. There should be the regular participation by the workers in the noise education programs, and when they develop any sort of hearing difficulties, they must consult otolaryngologist for the proper diagnosis and counseling. If we look into the management of NIHL, NIHL is one disease which is a totally preventable condition. And one thing very important with NIHL is that it is not medically or surgically treatable. This condition, I repeat, it is entirely preventable. Prevention includes proper education of the workers or the people who are working in the high noisy areas. Second important thing which plays an important role in the management of NIHL is the good engineering controls. The engineering controls, it includes the use of noise dosimeter at their workplace by making changes in the machinery or the equipment. Another important factor for managing the NIHL is the administrative control. Administrative control, it includes identifying the noisy areas in their workplace and identifying the hearing protection zone. And also the administrative control, it includes certain steps by minimizing the number of individuals at the area of the high noise exposure, by limiting the time of noise exposure, and by providing the sufficient information and training to the workers. They should be regularly participating in the noise education and control programs, and they must be using the proper hearing protective devices, either earplugs, earmuffs, or both. Since NIHL is a totally preventable condition, so nowadays a focus is made on the early detection of NIHL, especially in the people who are working in the noisy areas. So for the early detection of NIHL, the diagnostic tool of great help is the OAE, that is auto acoustic emission. This diagnostic test, it assesses the function of the outer hair cells. It is especially helpful in the people who are working in the noisy environment, and it is more sensitive than pure tone audiometry in detecting the early states of noise-induced cochlear damage. Otolaryngologist plays a great role in the management of NIHL. They help, first of all, they help in the medical and the audiological evaluation of the persons. Second is, again, educating the patients about the hazards of the noise, about the different preventive measures. And otolaryngologists, they also help the patients by helping them to choose the proper protective devices and by communicating them the necessary do's and don'ts. Earplugs and earmuffs, these are the personal protective devices that protect the hearing of users from the exposure to the loud noise. These are the two pictures. This is the earplug and this is how a earmuff looks like. The earplug, it works best for mid to high frequency range, that is from the 2 to 5 kilohertz. And if sealed properly, it reduces the sound by 15 to 30 decibel. Out of these earplug and earmuffs is more protective device. Here, the sound noise is attenuated by 30 to 40 decibels. One thing which must be communicated to the persons working in areas with the noise exposure is that whatever hearing protecting devices is being used, if it is not properly fitting, it doesn't prevent hearing loss. Moreover, in areas with a high noise level, individuals they should be using both earplugs and earmuffs. And one thing which should always be told to them is that it should be worn all the time at their workplace, because it is seen that if it is removed for even 15 minutes during an 8 hour of their work shift, it reduces the protection efficacy and the cumulative attenuation capability to half. Noise or the loud sound, it not only affects the hearing, there are evidence-based scientific studies which that have shown that the noise, it affects other systems also, like vestibular system. When the patient they complain of disequilibrium, it can also lead to emotional unrest, and noise has also been related to hypertension, peptic ulcer, and general health impairment. To emphasize the importance of hearing and the effect of noise on the hearing, worldwide, every year on 3rd of March, the World Hearing Day is celebrated. On this World Hearing Day in 2019, this year, WHO it launched a free app known as Hear WHO app. This is the logo of the Hear WHO app, which helps the people to check their hearing. So the WHO, it aims that all people should check their hearing from time to time, especially those who are working in noisy places, elderly above 50 years, and those people who are listening to music at high volumes for longer duration of time. The ultimate motto of celebrating World Hearing Day is that to create awareness about the importance of hearing. So before I conclude, the key message is that NIHL is a preventable disease. It is an emerging global occupational health hazard. With the proper awareness, preventive measures, and good administrative control, it may help to reduce its burden globally. With this, I conclude. Thank you for watching this video.